I think I'm live. Hey, I hope I'm live because I'm talking. Welcome into the Flippin' Hippos YouTube channel. I'm Star, so thank you for joining me if you're live on December 16th at 4 p.m. And if you're watching the replay, it's probably a different day or a different time, and I appreciate you coming back to watch the replay if you missed the live. I already see a whole bunch of conversation and talk going on over in the comments, which is exciting. And I see some really good points being made. You guys just missed the loud cha-ching that nearly gave me a heart attack right before I came on. My List Perfectly sales detection went off. And if you saw my video about the new feature, I got to start remembering to turn my phone on quiet because people. Okay, so I did the video on the sales detection, and I really harped about the cha-ching. It's exciting. It's very loud and startling, though. We can hear it across the house, like if nothing else is on. It's pretty loud. So, anyways, welcome in, everybody. It is December 16th. So next weekend is Christmas. Can you believe it? Next weekend is Christmas. So we have 2 weeks left in 2022. And we're going to do the best we can to get organized and be ready for 2023 and be as organized and prepared and do better with our processes and how productive we are. I've got a whole slew of videos coming out in the last 2 weeks of 2023. Nope, the last 2 weeks of 2022. Man, I'm in a hurry to get out of here, out of 23 even. But yeah, we have 2 weeks left. So I got, sorry, I was banging my coffee cup. We have videos coming out on, I have one on Keith and I's processes and how we work and how we're so productive. I have a bullet journal setup coming out. I have, I did one on eBay versus Poshmark, so you can kind of see the varying different platforms because you should be cross-posting. That's how you're going to make more sales is being on different platforms. And then I have 2 more live shows. I'm not taking a break from doing the live shows for Christmas or for New Year's Eve because I do the Friday hangouts, and the holidays are actually going to fall on Saturday and Sundays. So I will be here next Friday. We're going to talk about stocking up, just different ideas on how to get more inventory, why it's a good idea to have a stockpile. And then the following Friday, the last Friday of 2022, I will be doing a very special live show with Robert. You guys love Robert, right? I will have Robert on to talk about goals and resolutions. So the main theme the rest of the year, the last 2 weeks of the topics I'm going to have on this channel are mostly going to be just things you can do to be more organized, better prepared, streamline your processes, all that good stuff. Because the end of the year is the time for us to be introspective of ourselves and decide what we did correct, what we did right, what we did wrong, what we can improve on, and come up with new goals. I'm going to start saying hi to some folks in the chat. Zeporium says, I can't wait. I need to get organized. Yeah, if you're not organized, you need to be, because the key to success is being organized. It was good to see you in the List Perfectly live as well. I got some really good tips here. And I am going to show what we just found out from List Perfectly too. Yes, organization is an ongoing process. So as most of you know, I am one of the most organized people you are ever going to have the pleasure of coming across in your life. I am so organized, it's almost obsessive, but I still tweak it. It still changes. Life changes, things change. And so I just roll with the punches and change. I'm always willing to learn. I'm always willing to try new things. And when something else is going to work better, then I just change how I'm organized. I change my routines. I've changed how I do my bullet journals back in 2016. So yeah, it is an ongoing process that never stops. Something always needs tweaking, and things change. You know, you could have a kid in high school and you list 10 items a day because you have a kid and you're busy. They go off to college, maybe you can do 20 or 30 a day, but then you have to rearrange how you do that, right? Megan, that's so sweet. I've been looking forward to this video all day. I've been looking forward to doing it all day. This is one of my favorite things to talk about, and I'm going to totally geek out on you guys and share a little bit more with you than I have in the past about like my menu rotation and how super organized I am. Like, you can just call me Monica Geller if you get that reference. Hi, Elaine. Welcome in. Whitney's Wares is here. Danny's here. Hi, Danny. I actually mentioned you in a video I pre-recorded coming up, the one about me and Keith's processes. So you'll have to watch that one. Tammy's here. Hi, Tammy. Welcome in. Welcome in. Jill says, happy Friday. Hugs from Omaha. Hugs back to you, Amy. Yeah, Robert's just the best. He's not just a good reseller. He's actually a really good friend of mine, but I do love him to pieces, and I love having him on here. Please bring the pooping plush with Robert. Oh my God, the pooping plush. Hi, Heather. Welcome in. Oh, that was a fiasco. Mary, welcome in. Yeah, having Robert on this channel, I never know what's going to happen. And he's ridiculous. And I sometimes forget that I'm actually live when I'm talking to him. And just, I'm ridiculous because I'm just talking to my friend, right? Hey, welcome in. Okay, so before we get into my list, because guess what? I didn't mean to turn my camera off. I meant to share my screen. Before we get into my list, because in a video or a show about being organized, of course, I have an organized list of things I want to talk about. But I also want to show you something that List Perfectly just launched in their listing party. So, okay, wait. Let me back up. Let me just back up, okay? I will someday learn how to share my screen live, and it will be a streamlined process. If you use List Perfectly, you automatically have access to Listing Party. Hopefully you watched my video when I got back from the Reseller Remix in October on the Listing Party. But it is just one more place for connections and all kinds of stuff. Let's look at it. You get this with your List Perfectly subscription. So you have a profile, right? There's mine. I'm one half of a power team. We're flipping hippos on all the things. So you have a way to get to List Perfectly directly from here. This is in the directory, okay? No, I'm lying to you. I'm still learning listing party as well. So there are actual listing parties. They're live Zoom calls. They go on almost every single day, all different times of the day. Different hosts. They have List Perfectly employees that host them. They have resellers that list them. I'm going to sign up to do a few next year. I didn't have room on my plate this year. Speaking of being organized and knowing what I have time for, I just didn't have time for listing parties this year. I don't. I'm still trying to grind out the last bits of the guides for 2023. I'm doing an inventory check. I didn't have time, but I'll promise I'll do them next year. Anyway, so there are parties on here where there's listing parties. You can go to events and see what's coming up. We have wholesale office hours, cup of consignment with these two lovely ladies here. Teresa does one. They're just really good places to go to get information. They have themed ones for books, movies, all kinds of stuff. So you would just look there. You can put your listings in here. You can't buy on List Perfectly. It's not a selling platform. It's taking a little bit to load. But you put your listings in there, and then from there, people decide where they want to buy. See? So this way we can support each other. So if you know that you're like looking for a specific thing, that was the directory. I don't know why the listings, there we go. If you're looking for a tea light candle for Christmas and you don't want to buy randomly off of eBay, you can support your other people, the resellers. Come here and then you just click the platform and it'll take you off site to that platform to purchase. So you List Perfectly is not becoming a selling platform. It's just a place kind of like in search of for us to support each other as sellers. And then in the directory, you can hire assistants to do listing for you and all kinds of stuff. And these are folks, if you hire them, they are vetted by List Perfectly. Okay, so they're not willy-nilly Nancy Schmoo off the street. So your goals is the new thing they just launched. This is exciting because now we can keep track of our goals and keep ourselves accountable. So I added one just to try it out. I am taking a physical inventory right now, which is part of what's going on. I have so much going on. So much work. It always gets like this between November and January because Keith and I are updating the guides for the next year. I'm always doing an inventory. We're getting everything ready for tax time. It's the Q4 push. There's more shipping going out. We're sourcing more to store our nuts like squirrels for when the winter gets really bad and we can't get out and source. Really busy. But I thought I'd put one of my goals in here just to see how it works. And I've actually done some of these. Nope, I don't want to mark it complete. I want to add progress. Oh, it did. It did. Okay, so I've done 26 of the 76 beds. But anyway, there's a new goal thing. It's pretty cool. You guys can use it if you want. Oh, thank you so much. I have not seen the comments in a second. Thank you, Tammy. That's very, very nice of you. I love it. Now I'm sidetracked because I'm verklempt, but thank you. I do appreciate the super chats. Yes, I actually have only made it to one listing party. I went to the movies one with Stuart and Doug. Again, I just don't have the time right now. I'm still going to the List Perfectly live shows on Fridays at 2 p.m. Because I have made those a priority and actually scheduled them in. They're like on my schedule for Friday at 2 p.m. I go to the List Perfectly live show. But I just don't have any room for anything else until after the new year. When we're done our inventory and when we're done with the guides, and I got to get those out. So, yeah, the movies one is the only one that I've been to. The List Perfectly team is great. List Perfectly is an inventory management system, a cross-posting tool, and so much more. And now we have this listing party place where you can hire vetted assistants. You can find people that do consignment. You can go to listing parties where you can learn. There's just so much there. And now you can keep track of your goals. So here's where I get to promote myself. Use code flippinhippos to get 30% off your first month of List Perfectly. Or if you're not using Pro Plan yet, give it a month. Give it a whirl. Try it for a month. 30% off. You can upgrade from business to Pro with our code flippinhippos and pay that first month with Pro what you would pay for business. And you will see what all the hype is about. It has been life-changing for my business. But that is another video that will be out soon. So that all said, there's a good place to keep track of your goals. If you don't want to get List Perfectly or you don't want to use their goal system, get a bullet journal. I got a video coming out on that as well. I've got 2022s here. I've got coffee in the way. 2021, 2022, and 2023. I always like to keep the last year's around in case there's information in it that I need now. And I also, obviously, we're coming to the end of the year, so I have 3. But come the first of the year, this one will get put away. Nerd City, ready for Nerd City alert? Nerd City. I have a box of all my old bullet journals, and it has the dates on the side. And then I can go back and look at stuff. Listen, I write down where I eat and what we do for date night, what movies we watch. I write down all kinds of stuff. I treat it like a journal as much as a planner. Nerd. Okay, you guys ready? I got a list. We're going to talk about how to get organized. I got 45 minutes to do it, and I love to talk about this. It's my favorite thing to talk about. So as I'm talking, please feel free to put your comments or questions in. That way, if I talk too long at the end, I can just pull the winner for the free month of List Perfectly. But if there's time, I'll open up the floor for questions. But if they come, I will be more than happy to answer as we go. So from start to finish, as a reseller, these are the things you do. You do thrifting. Then you have to do your prep. then you do your photos, then you do your listing, and then you do your shipping. Am I forgetting anything? So we're going to talk about how to streamline your processes and organize each of these tasks to make your life easier. And then I have a couple of life hacks for you I'm going to give out at the end for personal stuff, because you don't want to just be organized in business. You got to be organized in life. The more organized you are all the way around, the better off you're going to be. If your personal schedule is organized, you'll have more time for work. If your work schedule is organized, you'll be more productive and you'll have more time for the personal stuff. It's a nice big circle. But let's start with thrifting. The biggest tip I can give you to get organized and spend less time outside of the house running around is to plan your errands on the same day as you're thrifting, if you can. Everyone's life is different and everybody has different, responsibilities and things going on. But if it's at all possible, if you have a particular day or 2 days a week or whatever that you go out thrifting, plan your errands on the same day and plan your route. Maximize the time that you're outside of the house so that you're not going out so often that you're not having an office day or sitting at your desk and working. If you go out thrifting 3 times a day and then you go out another day for groceries and that ends up being stopping at the post office and going to Starbucks and doing gosh knows what else, when are you sitting at home doing the prep, the photographs, the listing? You see what I'm saying? It also will save you wear and tear on your car. It'll save you money and gas. It'll save you some sanity. So if you can say, like Keith and I say, we go to Salvation Army Wednesday mornings and then we go to get groceries right after. If there are other errands, we will do them in between the two or first thing, because Salvation Army doesn't open until 10. So if we have something we need to do, we can go do it at 9 or 9:30. Like for instance, when we had to get the title and the plate and the DMV stuff all taken care of when we moved back to Pennsylvania, we just did that we did the DMV. Pennsylvania is weird. You get your driver's license at the DMV, of course, but the title and registration, you have to go to a notary. Florida, you do everything at the DMV, so you can go in one stop and do it all. But we just split it up between 2 Wednesdays. We went at 9 in the morning, got it done, went to Salvation Army, went to the grocery store, and then we go to the post office and come home. And we have the route planned so that it makes the most sense. So if you can do that, do that. If you know your dog is going to need a new bag of food from PetSmart, or you know that your daughter is going to need a poster board for a project coming up, if you know any of these things ahead of time, write them down. I cannot preach writing stuff down enough. Then when you go thrifting, you can go, I need to go to Five Below for a pack of stickers for my daughter's project or my son's project or whatever. And then you can plan your day. But plan your route too. I like to do thrifting first. I like to get there when it's first opening. I feel like there's less people and it's less crowded. But if I needed to do something that was on the way to the thrift store, but not necessarily on the way back home, I would switch it. So I'm using yet less gas and less time. I don't want to zigzag all over town, right? I want to go on a little route and do all my stuff. I thrift I speak English. I thrift 1 day a week and plan on my running on the day. If it were not for the post office, I would only be sitting outside once a week. So I am the same exact way, and Keith does not like leaving the house at all. In fact, one of the perks of the thrifting being so much more difficult when we lived in Florida, it was so expensive, it was so hard to find stuff. We got really creative about getting wholesale, and we never really had to leave the house. But here we get so much inventory for 99 cents and half off, and the cost of goods is just really great here, and we find amazing things. We got to go out. We go out twice. We go to Salvation Army on Wednesday and do all our running that day. And we hit the post office that day. That's it. We get all our returns on Wednesdays and all our mail from the post office 1 day a week. And then Sundays we go to the Goodwills, but we're always done by 11 or noon. We're fast. We're fast thrifters. we can go into a Goodwill and come out in under an hour with like 100 items. We're pros. I should do videos on how to thrift like me. No, I'm kidding. Because I don't like video. I don't like to take videos of myself in the thrift store. I just like to get what I'm getting. So then Sundays, actually, we take the rest of the day off when we're done thrifting and go spend it with his grandparents. But yeah, it's a good idea to just get everything done. So, because, and we're going to talk about this at the end with the life hacks, having a good grocery list and stuff. So you're not zigzagging all over the store. You never want to zigzag. You want to have a plan. You want to have an idea of where you're going and what you're doing on the way there and everything you need to do. Once you're in the thrift store, just focus. Find out what's most important to you and go there first, and then browse around everything else. It's a little bit easier if you're more niche down because you're only looking at a couple of things. But if you sell everything and you need to look at everything, do it. Do it because this is our job, and part of our job is thrifting. So you have to allow yourself time. Don't feel like you have to get it in and out in under an hour like us. If you need 2 or 3 hours, if you only source once a week, you need to find more. If you need to do comps, never scrimp on the time you allow yourself to thrift. Just make sure it's not because you're fiddle farting around. Make sure you're looking at stuff, looking up comps, not watching TikToks in the corner or talking to your friends on Facebook. So just get in the thrift store and focus and get through what you're getting through. It's also a good idea to, at some point, learn enough brands and comps, memorize them, or keep a list on your phone so you don't have to comp everything at the thrift store. I have a list of jeans that I keep on my phone, brands that I need. And I have a poop list. Pass on these, don't ever pick these up. I've got most of it memorized now, but when I was still first learning jeans, I just kept it on my phone. Another shameless self-plug, but I am coming out with our new guides for the new year. We're going to run a 50% off blowout sale for all 3. So it's going to be a really good deal when they first come out, and that's something you can keep on your phone too. I'm putting in a lot of cheat sheets for the jeans. So if that's something you can do, or you can create your own, you can do all the research. It's a lot though. It takes a lot of time, which is why it takes us 2 months to put it together and why I charge for it. I would give it for free if I wasn't giving so much time to it. But once you start learning that stuff, or you have lists on your phone or whatever, you're not spending as much time comping. And that all comes with experience. So to recap, plan your errands and your thrifting in one day. Plan a route so that you're making sense when you're driving. When you get into the thrift store, have a route there. Have an idea in your head of, I look at this, then this. Do your comps at the end. That's another tip. Don't stand at the rack and comp. If it's something that you might possibly think that you're going to pick up for flipping, put it in your cart and move on. Go through the stuff as fast as you can and just pile it all in your cart. And at the end, you should be doing this anyway. At the end, pull your cart to the side and check your stuff over, because you should be making sure there's no holes in the crotch, or zippers aren't broke, or there's not a broken piece on whatever. When you're looking it over, that's when you'll do your comps, because you've already gone through everything as fast as you can. You have everything that you might possibly want. There's several reasons for this. You don't want to leave something behind, comp it, find out that it's a great buy and you should have sourced it, but somebody else has already taken it because you left it. So take it with you. You can always put it back if you don't want it. But second, it's the mindset of what I was talking about in last week's live show of doing things in batches, right? If you're flicking through the racks as fast as you can and just throwing stuff in the cart, then you're going and comping each item and deciding, you're going to be a little bit more swift or faster than if you're looking at one item at a time and putting it in the cart and comping it right at the rack. So just go through everything. Anything you might want, take it with you. At the end, you should be looking over your items anyway, because there's nothing worse than getting home and finding out something has a hole or a stain, and then do your comps at that point. But if you have your lists, and then as you start to memorize stuff, that'll be easier too. Plan your routine for prepping. Okay. You need to plan this out ahead of time. What's going to be your plan for prepping? That's going to be dependent upon what you sell. If you sell shoes and they need a lot of prep or cleaning, I don't know how many of you follow Megan Mawini on Instagram. She's does a lot of shoes, and she has little videos to show folks how to remove the permanent marker off the bottom, how to clean them up. There's a lot of shoe sellers out there that show you all these hacks on how to clean shoes, and it looks to me like a lot of work. Shoes skeeve me out. So gross that anybody would put their hands where somebody else's toe sweat has been, but it is money, and if you want to sell shoes, sell shoes. I'm not one to judge, but it grosses me out personally. I tried to do shoes, but I can't. Anyway, I digress. If you sell shoes, you need to have a clear plan. Maybe you need to pick a day where you prep, or a half a day. Maybe, Monday afternoon is spent prepping all of your shoes, because you want to have them all prepped before you photograph. You don't want to bring a pile of stuff into your workspace and clean one pair and photograph it, and clean a pair. You want to clean them all at once and then take that whole pile and photograph them. So you need to have a plan in place, and this is all going to be dependent on what you sell. We have a routine where the stuff stays in our trunk, and on the days that we're home, which is most days, Keith has a routine, and he brings in enough from the trunk to the laundry room, which is in the back of the garage basement, and he does a load at a time. And he does 2 or 3. I mean, he starts them like right at breakfast. It's his routine. And when they're done, we fold them together and then sort them into boxes down there. And men's shirts, women's shirts, and jeans. And that way they're washed, they're dried, they're clean, they're folded, they're prepped, and they're in boxes sorted by type. So you want to do something like that. You want to spend a day cleaning your shoes and put them in a bin that's easy to tote around. Plush, you do want to steam them. I know some people don't, but for cleanliness, I always recommend washing everything that you purchase for resale, even if you just steam it. If it's new at tags or dry clean only or Plush, you can steam them. The steam will sanitize. Get a steamer that touts on the box that it kills mites and bed bugs. I have an affiliate link for one down below if you want to use that. Mine's really great. It's on wheels. It's great to use if you have a bad back. You should be cleaning shoes. Very least, if they look clean and nice, you should be Lysoling them, because you guys, other people had these items before us, and other people are gross, and other people have germs and do gross things. So you should be, at the very least, washing the clothes, steaming new with tags, dry clean, steam your Plush, Lysol your shoes. If you're selling coffee mugs, you probably want to wipe the inside out, just make sure it's dust free. Make them presentable for your photos. So plan your prep and do your prep in batches also. Don't wipe one coffee mug and then clean a pair of tennis shoes and then steam one Plush. Like, take a pile of Plush and steam them. Take a pile of shoes and clean them. Run your wash constantly while you're home, even if you can only do one a day. But that way you get a pile built up of something all alike in one pile, so that you are organized for your photos, because you want to do your photos in batches. So you want to be able to take a whole pile of one thing, bring it to your work area, and just take pictures and measurements at that time if you need to. Some people take their measurements in the prep process. I don't, because of how we do our system. Comes out of the dryer, all the jeans get folded into a box. Then the box is brought up to my office, and I spend an afternoon watching movies while I work. I mean, isn't our job fantastic? I can watch true crime, Disney movies, whatever. Old horror movie favorites that I don't really have to pay attention to, and I'll just sit and measure and photograph. So find a system that works for you, but get it organized so you are thrifting at max capability, bringing it home, prepping it in an organized way, and then it's ready to photograph, and you're photographing it in an organized way. When you go to list, you should have templates. If you're on list perfectly, there's no excuse not to have templates. You can put templates in place there. And when you take your photos on your phone, you're taking them right into the templates on List Perfectly. So your listing is already created. Your photos are in there and all the information you have, your template is in there. And you're literally going on the back end of List Perfectly and just fixing titles and prices and stuff. If you're not using List Perfectly, you should be. But eBay does have templates as well. Templates will save you so much time, because how much stuff do you type over and over and over and over again on the same types of listings? I always say list in batches too. So if you're going to do all jeans, do all jeans. If you're going to do all shirts, do all shirts. Especially, again, a lot of my experiences are coming from being a List Perfectly user. But eBay, when you push out from List Perfectly, will remember the last thing you told it, save for shipping. So if the last thing I told it was I want a flat rate envelope and the buyer pays the return, and I'm doing 20 jeans, that's just going to stay there. Then the next time we sit down to list, let's say Keith is listing and he's doing shirts, he'll tell it he wants first class and free returns, and he can just go through, and that's one less thing you have to click or change each time you list. But doing everything in batches just makes sense for everything, every step of the way. So do your photos in the batches, then list. You can prepare listings ahead of time. In fact, you can have a bank of photographed items, and then you could have a bank of ready to go drafts. And I suggest having both. I have hundreds of pictures sitting on my List Perfectly catalog as listings right now. Nothing's been touched. Nothing's been done. They're just pictures. Those items were processed. They were photographed. They were put away neatly into our inventory management system, which we're going to talk about in a second. And then they're out of the way. They're put away neatly into our nice and neat organized system. I'm not looking at a huge desk pile, but I didn't feel the pressure to list them. See that? I think that's where a lot of people get these huge death piles and get overwhelmed. They look at this huge death pile and they think of the whole process from beginning to end, and it's overwhelming and you don't want to do it. But what if you just had a day a week where you just took pictures and there's no pressure to do anything else? Just take pictures. Just take the pictures, put the items into your inventory management system, and leave it. Then you could have a day where you just create a bunch of drafts. Leave them. List 5 or 10 a day or whatever your goal is, but you could literally have 100 items in bank in just photos and 100 drafts in bank. Don't kill yourself and do them all in one day. We built ours up over time. So like I'll spend one afternoon doing pictures. I'll spend another afternoon working on listings that I don't actually put live on any platforms. They're just drafts. And then I can push out 5 or 10 a day from my bank. And then I just keep adding to it. So I do really, really recommend having the draft banks and the photo banks, because there's going to come a time sometimes when you can't get around to doing everything, and you'll have extras. So that's literally what I do. I have a video coming out, like I said, on the exact processes that Keith and I use in our business that makes us so productive, and how we run a volume-based business without actually working more than 6 hours a day. Like it's all about being focused and having these processes in place. So when I speak to you on these things and I give you these tips and these hints, it's things that I actually implement. You guys, I'm not talking out of my ass. I promise. These are things that Keith and I actually do all the time. We get a lot done. We are very productive people. And we take every night around 5 o'clock, we're done. We don't work anymore. We go make dinner. We clean up from dinner. We go for a walk. We watch movies, play video games, and we take most of the weekend off because we do these things. So take them for what you will, but consider trying them if you're not organized yet. Squirrels. That's true. So you need to use templates and do everything batches and have extras of everything. Have a death pile. Have extra photos taken. Have extra drafts ready. Now, we're going to talk about shipping. How do I get organized in shipping? Well, it starts with a really great inventory management system. You've got to be organized. You've got to have a way to store your inventory so that when you go to pull for shipping, whatever time of the day you do it, but we're going to use the morning as an example because that's what we do. You want to be able to look at everything that's sold on all your platforms, make a list, check it twice, like Santa, and you want to be able to go to where you keep your inventory, whether it's a garage, a storage unit, an attic, and you want to be able to say, boom, 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 boom. Whether you sell one item or 50, you should be able to walk into where you keep your inventory and literally just reach in and pull them out one by one with ease. Our inventory management system is bins. So we have A through Z, and then A1 through A0, and B, C, D, E, F, 1 through 0. So we have right around 86 bins, 76 bins. I think I put 76 on my goal list perfectly, but I'm pretty sure it's 86. And inside of each bin is 20 items. And they're separated padded flats and first class. And the reason is because the padded flats actually take up more room. And we're going to keep those at 20. It's like 2 rows of 10. We're going to increase our first class ones to 2 rows of 15 so we can get 30 in there, get more inventory and less bins because we are going to grow to 5,000 listings next year. But it's 1 through 20. So in the SKU line, it will say it's in bin B and it's number 10, or it's in bin A1 and it's number 20. And then we just have little tags that when we're doing the photography part of the process, the very last picture we take of any item, I can actually show you. I'm going to show you in List Perfectly. See, here's my drafts ready to go. Here's all my pictures. Just sitting here waiting. No stress, no pressure. Just getting through the death pile. Just getting these photographed, processed, and put away in the inventory management system. It doesn't have to be a big deal. You don't have to stress yourself out. No pressure. Very last picture I take is this. This picture stays in List Perfectly, but it gets deleted off of the platform, so it's not like actually on eBay, but it stays here just in case because you never know. Things get misplaced. But it is the very last picture I take, and that way when I go to list, I can put it right in the SKU line. It's in every listing we do. Very last picture. And so socks, you can see socks. So we take the pictures of the item and then we fold the item, put it in a poly bag. If it is first class, and if it was jeans, it would go into these clear bags that we use inside of the cardboard flat rate envelope mailers. Oftentimes, if it weighs over a pound, I just take a picture of it on the scale and its location tag, and then I put it in the plastic bag. But yeah, that's the very last picture we take, and so we know where it's going. We can put it in the SKU line. And that is how we tag them. We put these little tags on them with paper clips. And then when we pull it to ship it, we take those clips off and we reuse them so that we're constantly replacing. I swear I'm going to learn how to use a live stream someday. We're constantly replacing the holes. So instead of just continuing to get new bins and creating more new bins with 20 items a piece, if I sold 10 items today, those 10 slots are going to get refilled the next time I take photos. So we take the tags off. We have a bag for first class. We have a bag for priority. They're across the room. But just any kind of system, and just toss them in. And when you're taking photos, reach in and put that as your last picture. I do recommend keeping that picture somewhere. I keep mine in my catalog on List Perfectly and then just delete it from each listing as I push them out. But that is like the best inventory management system I can think of for clothing. Most resellers use something very similar. Plush, you can have numbered bins and just put them in there. And when you take the last picture of your plush, should be the plush with what bin they're going in. So if I'm doing a plush photography day, I'll take one Post-it note and write bin 7. And the second to last picture I take is the plush next to a measuring tape. And then I'll put my Post-it note, and that'll be my last picture, and I'll know all those plush went into bin 7. Robert does them by type, so you can do that too. I don't like to do that because so many of them look so similar that I'm always afraid I'm going to make a mistake and send the wrong one. Because if I have 50 Winnie the Poohs in one bin, all 50 Winnie the Poohs are similar, and I'm afraid I'm going to grab the wrong one. So I just go where I have room. It's not as simple as pulling off a tag and recycling it like the clothes. I just check my plush bins every once in a while. When I see it's getting low, I know that's the next one I'm going to put plush into when I do a plush photography day. Hard goods shelves. Our remotes are in bins. We don't have that many hard goods anyway. But you can do them on shelves and label your shelves. Just do like Walmart or Target does in the back. Have your shelves like shelf 1, shelf 2. And then you can say all of these are on shelf 1 or shelf 2. You never want to grab the wrong poo. Our remotes are in bins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Same deal. And we have a couple of bins of video games that are numbered. And then we just make sure the titles are sticking out. So that's how you get a good inventory management system. Because you should absolutely be able to say, I'm going to pull everything that's shipped. No, you're going to pull everything that's sold to ship it. And you want to be able to walk down and just boom, boom, boom. You don't want to waste time. Sorry, I need water. You don't want to waste time every morning, every day, looking for stuff. And it's so stressful. I mean, it's going to happen. It does happen. It happens to all of us. Things do get misplaced. They get put in the wrong bin. They fall behind. It does happen, even to the most organized best of us, right? And it's stressful. I hate that feeling that, oh, I can't find it. I don't know where it is. What's going on? Very stressful. When you have a good inventory management system, it's not. So everything's standing up in there. Like I said, there's 2 rows of 10 and the little tags are at the top and we literally can flick through. You can be very, very anal and always keep them 1 to 10, 11 to 20, and then you can really just see where they are. I do that. Keith does not. But how does that work, you ask? Because we each have our own side of the room. So everywhere we've ever lived, we've used this system. This is the 3rd place we've lived in together since we've had this system. And so he just has like his side of the garage and I have my side of the garage. So he has his bins and I have my bins. So whatever sells, we go down together and put away anything that we had photographed the day before. And then we pull the shipping and he's in charge of like that side of the room, which is like A through B something. And I'm in charge of this side of the room, which has all my plush and everything. And so when I put mine away, I can do it the way I want. He puts them in standing up, but he doesn't keep them in numerical order. He says that's a little excessive. And I say that's his side of the room and he can do what he wants, but I pull my stuff faster. So let's move on to the next thing. You have a good inventory management system in place. So your polling for your shipping is always going to go well. You're not going to waste time. You're organized. Your shipping area needs to be organized. You need to have a very organized shipping area. I have an entire shelf in the closet, and I'm trying to think of what the order is that it's in. So at the top is the poly bags that we use the most often, and then the clear bags for the jeans and tissue paper. And then on the bottom is the next shelf down is the remotes, envelopes, the cardboard flat rate envelopes, and then the padded flats, which I still use those for Poshmark. So just have something like that. Have all your shipping supplies organized within reach. I have a little cart that has stuff on it. But just think about wherever you're going to be shipping and printing your labels, just organize it. Because you, again, don't want to be wasting time looking for stuff. And it's not a good feeling. It's stressful. If you need a particular size box that you use all the time, have a place to keep it. Have all your shipping supplies together, organized by type, and then you'll just always be able to ship easily. You can sit down and go, okay, this is a shirt. And if you store them the way we store them, it does go a little more smoothly. So all of our first class items, hi Swamp Picker, welcome in, are stored in the poly bags, like you guys saw in the photos. So we literally just pull it out of the bin, pull the tag off, tape it closed, put a label on, boom, done. The jeans are stored in the clear bags, pull the label off, tape the clear bag, throw it in the cardboard, tape it, label, done. Poshmark items, I do pull out of the poly bag and put into a flat rate, or the padded flats, because we pay for the poly bags. Padded flat rate envelopes are free to order from the United States Postal Service, and there's something you can use with the Poshmark labels. So I use those because they're free. I don't want to use my poly bags. I'm paying for them. So that takes a second. But yeah, if you store them in what they're going to ship in, you literally just pull them out. Oh, but what if someone orders more than one item? Okay, then they ordered more than one item. You can spend a couple of seconds unbagging and rebagging. But yeah, have all your tape gun, your thank you cards, your stickers, whatever you use for shipping on one shelf, one cart, very close to where you have your label maker and your computer and everything that you use for shipping. Once you have all of this in place, shipping takes no time at all. I know it's not fair for me to say, oh, we're so fast because there's two of us, but we are pretty fast. And it's only because things are organized. Like, literally, it's so easy for us to do shipping because all the first class is just getting pulled out of the bins and mailed. All I have to really worry about is getting the jeans in the cardboard envelopes and repackaging Poshmark if I need to. Keep an eye on your supplies too. This is a good tip. Or just revamp my inventory running system. Good for you. Get organized, people. I love it when people get organized. I used to want to be a professional organizer, like you see on the hoarders videos, movies, shows, whatever they are. All right, so keep an eye on your supplies. If you have less than half of something that you use all the time, order more. If it's something that you don't use all the time, you can probably put it off until you got a couple left. The best example I can give you is the flat rate envelopes. When I have less than half of a box left, I go on the USPS website and I order another box because I use them every day. We sell jeans every single day. They're flying out the door. Remote mailers, the padded mailers for remotes, if we have less than half, we order more because we ship those every day. But like we have these weird small boxes that we use for small plush with tags. I don't really have that many small plush with tags. They don't sell that often. So I usually wait till I have maybe 4 boxes left and then I'll order more. But just keep an eye on your supplies and order when you're getting low because you never want to run out. Because if you run out of the supply that you need, you're either having to run out to a store to pay a higher price for it at the store than you would buying it bulk online or from somewhere like the Boxery online, or you're having to be creative at home and find another way to ship it, and then you're wasting time. You should only be wasting time finding out a way to ship something if you're frankenboxing like an expensive item. But if it's something that for instance, I will say that Keith and I one time let our padded envelopes run out. So then we were having to individually wrap each remote in some bubble wrap and then polybag it. And that was taking extra time. And had we been paying attention, we wouldn't have run out of the envelopes, right? So have a clear plan for every day. Every day can be the same or every day can be different. Like Dawn said, thrifting on Thursdays. Oh, I go thrifting on Wednesdays. Thursday's my office day. Thursday's my fun day where I get to stay in my office and take pictures and catch up on computer work. Yes, I know. I'm weird. I love to list. I love to work on the computer. I love to sit in my office. Thrifting is okay. It's exciting. The thrill of the hunt. But I would rather be at home working in my own environment. But yeah, so just have a clear plan for every day. Whether you want to do the same things each day in the same order, or you want to say Monday is photographs, Tuesday is creating extra drafts in the draft bank, Wednesdays is thrifting, whatever. but have a clear plan for every day. Have routines that you do every day, and write these down. For moving forward for 2023, write your stuff down. Get a bullet journal. Write down your routines. Write down your to-dos. I couldn't agree with you more. My office is my sanctuary. I have all my books in here. I have all my baby Yodas. I have my TV. I love going to work. I love getting out of bed every morning and working. I really do. This is the best job I've ever had. I even get to watch movies and stuff when I work. So that's everything for getting organized for your business, from thrifting, prepping, photos, listing, and shipping, and having a good inventory management system. And then just have those routines in place, follow your routines, have a plan for every day. Now, some real quick life hacks for non-business organization. Have a menu plan. I know it sounds so nerdy, but how much time do people waste deciding, oh, what am I going to cook tonight? What am I going to do? How much money do you waste ordering food in because you didn't have a plan? How many people don't take a grocery list with them to the store and have to run back out for something? Keith and I have never had to run back out for something. We go once a week to the store, and that's it. And we have everything we need. How do we do that? We're organized. Take a grocery list with you. Have a menu plan. It does not have to be anything fancy. You don't have to have fancy stuff. I have like a spreadsheet that I typed out our favorite things to eat. And we look at it and we're like, okay, we'll eat this, and this week. You know what I mean? And then I make a grocery list off of those recipes. And then as far as everything else, I have so many friends who are like, I just went to the grocery store, but I forgot the toilet paper, or I forgot the laundry soap, or I forgot this, or the dish soap, or I didn't realize that we were almost out of trash bags. You got to retrain yourself and everyone in your house. Remember what I said about your shipping supplies and ordering more if you have half or less? Train yourself and everyone in your house to start paying attention to these things. If you take the next to last roll of toilet paper or paper towels, write it down. So Keith and I have a magnetic pad on the fridge, and when anyone notices, hey, there's less than half of the dish soap, or the laundry soap's almost empty, or I just took the next to last roll of toilet paper, or my bath soap's getting low, whatever it is, write it down. When I'm cooking, if I notice one of my spices is getting low, or we're low on the sprinkle cheese, shredded cheese, we call it sprinkle cheese, write it down. Retrain yourself and everyone in your home to start writing it down. You can have a dry erase board, a magnetic notepad, whatever on your fridge. And that way all week you're keeping track. And there's stuff that we all buy every week, so you don't need to write that down. Like most people every week are going to be buying milk, bread, cereal. Every family is different, but every family has something that they buy every week. You can write down that thing if you want. Then the night before you go grocery shopping, this will take you 5 to 10 minutes to do, okay? 5 to 10 minutes the night before you go grocery shopping. If you can give up 5 to 10 minutes, you're going to save yourself stress, money, time. You're going to be a much happier person. Sit down, decide what meals you're making the next week. I usually just grab a Post-it note and write MTWTH, for the days of the week, and I write next to it, scratch it out, stick it on the fridge. And then I make a grocery list. I look at that pad we've been writing on all week, and I can see what we need. I write that. I write down everything we buy every week, the usual suspects. And then I look at the menu and write down what I need for those recipes. Keith and I get everything we need every week, and we've never had to run back out. We have never, in the 8 or 9 years that we've been living together, ever had to run out for something that we forgot. We plan everything out. It sounds excessive. Oh, I don't want to sit down and make a menu plan. I don't want to make a grocery list. I don't want to have to run out to the store 10 times. So I don't like to run out of stuff either. I like to always have plenty. So that's a life hack for you. The running list, that's what we call the one on the fridge. We call it the running list, where everybody writes everything down. Then to get organized as far as cleaning your home and decluttering, I always recommend Fly Lady. You guys should be following Fly Lady. She breaks your home up into different zones and has you cleaned for 10 or 15 minutes a day, and that's all you ever clean. No more spending all day cleaning every weekend or all day 3 days during the spring or whatever people do. She literally has you clean for 10 or 15 minutes a day and follow really good routines. And that will help you get organized as far as cleaning your house and stuff. And then you want to get your money organized. You want to have a better budget for 2023. Most of us do like to have a budget. So for that, you can just keep track of what you're spending your money on. You'll be surprised. Keep track of everywhere you spend your money because it adds up. And there are a lot of things that a lot of us spend money on that are frivolous that we don't need to be spending money on. But keep track, make a budget. If you have a menu plan and your grocery list, you're going to save so much money on food. Meal planning has saved me so much money. Yeah. So like what I do is like if I make tacos, I make double the meat. We'll eat tacos 2 nights. We'll have leftovers. And then I can freeze whatever meat's left over. And then like in a week or 2, so we're not eating too much of the same thing, I can take out that leftover taco meat and with a couple of ingredients make a taco soup in the crock pot. I'm not slaving over no stove. I'm not in the kitchen all night. I dump everything in a crock pot, cook it up. Now we've got soup, but there's so much soup that we can eat it for dinner, and I can put containers of it in the freezer, and it's good for 3 months. So like I can constantly have a freezer full of all different soups, pre-prepped meals. I just think ahead when I plan my menu. What can I make big? What can I make a lot of? What can I freeze for later? You're going to save so much money. We sat down the other day just to figure it out. I spend between $2 to $4 a meal per person for me and Keith to cook. And I make fancy food. Like we just had Cajun chicken Alfredo. I don't make hamburger helper and stuff like that. I make nice food. It's just that I plan it out. I use leftovers. I make stuff in big batches that you can freeze and stuff like that. So yeah, that I do have a lot of friends that order their groceries online and have them delivered to avoid the impulse buys. I am way too much of a control freak for that. I have my items that I like, and I have to go to the store and pick it myself. I need to do this. My mother-in-law used to cook and prep meals. Now we're taking care of her plus prep meal. Yeah. So you can save so much money. Oh, and the last thing for your budget, Dave Ramsey. I know a lot of people disagree with some of the stuff I don't agree with everything he says either, but he's really great at planning out budgeting and a way to pay off your bills and save up money. So him and Fly Lady, I always recommend to people to help you get organized. But I think the biggest takeaway from today for you should be the inventory management system. That's probably the most important. Doing things in batches. So I'll like things having the same thing done to them. Not trying to do pictures and prepping all at the same time. No. So batch working, let's call it batch working, inventory management, and a menu plan and a grocery list. Those are like the biggest hacks I can give you for saving time and stress in work and life. We're going to pull a winner now. So let me go over here. The winner is going to get 1 free month of List Perfectly. If you are already a List Perfectly user, that's fine. You can just not pay your bill next month, or you can upgrade and try Pro for a month for free. If you don't use it, you get to try it free for 1 month and see what all the hullabaloo is about. Who's it going to be? Whitley's Wares. Congratulations. You're the winner, chicken dinner. You do, I swear, I'm going to learn how to use this someday. Whitley's Wares, you did get a free month of List Perfectly. So if you want to shoot me your email on either an Instagram or Facebook message, I will put you in touch with Tiffany, the over at List Perfectly. I forgot her title. How rude of me. Marketing manager, maybe. But I'll put you in touch with her. Tiffany's really great. She'll get you set up. So congratulations, Whitley's Wares, for your free month of List Perfectly. Everyone else in the channel that's here right now, congratulations for coming to the live show today and listening to me talk for an hour about being organized. But if you learned anything today, or if you take anything away from this, it's going to help you get organized. I'm so happy. I love talking about being organized. It's my favorite. It's my favorite. So hopefully you got some takeaways. And if you're watching later, thank you for showing up and watching the replay. Thank you. Great advice. Thank you so much. So I'm going to let you go. It's 5 o'clock. It's Friday. You know what I'm going to say now. I'm going to tell you guys that it's the weekend and you need to find that work-life balance. Don't work yourself to death. Take some time. What do we work for if we're not spending our money on fun stuff and spending time with people? Why are we our own bosses if we don't take time off? So go take some time off and be productive, make money, relax, do it all. Find that balance. I'll see you guys next week. Bye. Toodaloo.